Hey there, this is Matt once again. Got a little bit of different lighting, using the window this time. I don't use it that much because it makes me look like albino. But few people asked me about Paul Walker since I'm doing these collection discussion videos. And I actually had quite a few of his stuff. Now, Paul Walker was one of those guys that when he first came onto the scene, I'm like, oh, who's this pretty boy? What's this guy? What's his deal? But as years went on, I really grew to like him as an actor. I really grew to like a lot of his movies. And passing away as a passenger in a car while going to charity, it's really sad. It's tragic. And even more sad, two of my favorites of his came out after he died, including my favorite of his, which I'll start off with. So this is a guy that wanted to collect quite a few of his movies after he passed, and it's a real shame. It really is. And my favorite of his is Hours. And I know he's most famous for the Fast and Furious movies, which I'll get to, but this one to me is his best film. It's his most underrated film. And I definitely want to pick up the Blu-ray of this sometime because simply this is a criminally underrated flick. And for those who don't know what this movie is, Paul Walker, his wife is pregnant, they go to the hospital, she gives birth, but she dies during childbirth, and his child is so sick, so weak, that it's put into an incubator. An incubator give her oxygen, and what happens at the same time, this hurricane comes by, and most of the staff have to leave, and they can't take the child, move the big heavy machinery that she needs to keep breathing, and they don't want to mess with it or she'll die. So he stays with his baby, waiting for help. Help doesn't come, and it's just this battle for survival to keep his child alive, to the point that he has to actually do this manual thing every couple minutes to keep pumping oxygen to his kid's body. And I thought that was a really interesting idea for a film. Paul Walker, I agree with these reviews. Acting tour de force for Paul Walker. This is a film I recommend highly to anybody. Highest recommendation. I don't understand why he did not get any nominations. I liked Heath Ledger in The Dark Knight. After he died, he got nominations. Why didn't Paul Walker? He deserved it for this. But nothing. I mean, this didn't even get in the theaters. I mean, this pretty much just got dumped straight to video with a music video as a feature. Yeah. There's probably nothing else on the Blu-ray, but I just want to see in HD because I love this film a lot. That's why I wanted to talk about this first. If you've never seen Hours, I highly recommend anybody seeing it. It's a good survival story. It has a wonderful performance by a guy who, again, this is after he passed away, this came out, and it became my favorite film of his, so it just makes me wonder what he could have done in the future, which is the tragedy of it all. And before I get to the Fast and Furious, this is one of my favorites. It's not my favorite, Hours is, but I saw this in the theater and I enjoyed it. Brick Mansions. I thought this was an entertaining film. I know it's a remake of District B13. I actually like this more, maybe because I liked Paul Walker more than the other guy. And then you also had David Bell, who was in the original. Yeah, the stuff with RZA I could do without. I still enjoy the action sequences. I still enjoy Paul Walker, David Bell. I still thought it moved at a fast pace. And I thought it was a fun popcorn movie, Brick Mansions. And I still think this is an entertaining flick. Some good stunt work, fight scenes, and yeah, I thought it moved at a pretty brisk pace. That's Brick Mansions. Another one of my favorites of his, which I like to pick up the Blu-ray of this sometime too, is Running Scared. Running Scared, the director of this was going to direct Bullet to the Head with Stallone, and I would have been really interested to see what he would have done based on this. This is sort of a, in a weird way, it's sort of an urban fairy tale. Like a crime drama, but almost has, because at points the movie stops and has this theme move as if it's like a story being told, like a storybook. Like it's a grim fairy tale. Because you have all these weird, creepy criminals and things that you go through. And I like that review. Makes Kill Bill look like Sesame Street. Because Paul Walker works with the mob. He's supposed to conceal this weapon that was done. It goes missing, so now he's in trouble. While he's doing that, other stuff with his family's happening. There's this one sequence dealing with pedophiles, which I thought was insanely creepy, but well done. Meaning well filmed, nice bit of tension. What the wife character does was satisfying. I think Paul Walker gives a good performance. There's this other sequence dealing with a hockey and a hockey puck, which if you've seen the film, you know what I'm talking about. This is a really good flick too. Really interesting. Not your typical... This is one of those films that surprised me. And yeah, I definitely think it's one of his best movies, Paul Walker. So Running Scared, really good flick. And no, it has nothing to do with the Running Scared with Billy Crystal and Gregory Hines for back of the day, but really enjoyed Running Scared. This stupid sticker on it. I definitely want to pick this up on Blu-ray sometime. Roger Ebert. Goes so far over the top, I am in awe. So there you go. That's maybe a recommendation from Roger Ebert. But Wayne Kramer was the director of this. Really enjoyed Running Scared. Joyride. This is not the older DVD. This is a newer DVD because the older DVD I had was scratched up, and I did not pick up the Blu-ray because I did not know if it had the same features, which was the alternate 29-minute ending that you can, while the movie's going, an icon will appear and you can click on it and it'll go to that ending, which I actually prefer that over the theatrical ending. I wish there was a cut released that had that actually edited into the rest of the film. But at least an icon appears, it'll jump to it. But yeah, I don't know if that's on the Blu-ray. If you have the Blu-ray, you can tell me if it does. If it does have an icon, you can click, it'll jump to it. Or is it just one of those things you can only watch it separately? I don't know. I tried to find Blu-ray reviews of it, I couldn't. But Joyride is a good thriller directed by John Dahl. And actually one of the people involved was J.J. Abrams, who helped on the script, and he was one of the producers. But yeah, Steve Zahn, Leelee Sobieski, and Paul Walker. Paul Walker and Steve Zahn are two brothers, and they're going to see Paul Walker's girlfriend, Leelee, here, Sobieski. Steve Zahn is a troublemaker. He fucks with people on the CB radio, gets the attention of this trucker, voiced by Ted Levine. They mess with the wrong guy, and they get hunted. And good thrills, nice cast. Ted Levine was a wonderful choice for the voice of the trucker. And the reason I like the 29-minute ending, I thought it was just more satisfying. I like the comeuppance of the trucker. There is a comeuppance. And if you went with that, there wouldn't be shitty Joyride sequels. There's like at least 2 shitty Joyride sequels. This is a film that did not need direct-to-video sequels, but it did. And no, they don't have Ted Levine bad. They have some other guy voicing them. But yeah, I thought this was a pretty good thriller. Joyride. I guess I'll get to the Fast and Furious films now. I know they're the ones he's most popular for. The first one, which at best I think it's an okay flick, but then got it mainly for the Paul Walker collection and Vin Diesel collection. This one I actually liked more than the first one. Saw this in the theater, enjoyed it. I thought Paul Walker and Tyrese worked well together. Cole Hauser's the villain, did a nice job. I thought this moved at a good pace by director John Singleton, who did Boys in the Hood. And yeah, I thought this was a fun, entertaining popcorn movie. And yeah, I liked it more than the first one. The third one, never been a fan of. And it didn't have Paul Walker in it, so I didn't pick it up. I'm not a fan of this one, but again, it was like a dollar or so for the Paul Walker collection. Or did someone send this to me? I fucking can't remember. Fast and Furious 4. I'll just say that for sake of argument. Fast and Furious 4 I thought was a really lame fucking movie. I thought the ending, underground, the CGI orgasm, underground race, and these tunnels collapsing, made me want to puke. The plot did not care for at all. It just felt awkward, these characters trying to get back together. It just, I don't know. Not a big fan of this one. Then we get to my favorite of the franchise, Fast 5. Things just clicked. You had Tyrese coming back since part 2. You had the introduction of The Rock, Dwayne Johnson to the franchise. This is before he was making movies every 3 months. Or a movie of his came out every 3 months. But you know, the action scenes worked, the sequence with the safe that they're dragging behind them. Really good practical effects. Nice chemistry between the characters. Good fight between Dwayne Johnson and Vin Diesel. Yeah, things just clicked with this movie. So, definitely my favorite of the franchise. And this is a little bit of a step down, but still a very fun movie. Fast and Furious 6. Entertaining film. This one, this is Paul Walker passed away in the middle of it, so they had to finish it, but at the same time they had to change a lot of stuff, so that's why this film sort of feels wanty. That idea of Paul Walker's brothers to help finish it, CGI manipulation to finish it, and you could tell on seeing it was, yeah, it's wanty. But at the same time, it's not really their fault. I can say what's their fault, though, is Jason Statham as the villain. Either have him go all in or pull out and have fun by himself. Don't half-ass it. It's like you put a leash on him, and you find out why in this one, but either have him as a stone-cold villain or not. Pick one. And I know, some of the action scenes didn't do much for me. Tony Jaa was pretty wasted in this movie. And, I don't know, there's stuff I don't mind, but then the stuff I don't like. So this is sort of a mixed bag for me. And when I reviewed it, that was really, should have just said that. To me, this was a mixed bag. And I know I'm alone in this, because a lot of people feel this was worse. I respectfully disagree. The Fate of the Furious. I thought this moved at a better pace. I thought the action sequences and the fight scenes were better than the last one. I liked the finale here in the snow better than the finale where doesn't like Vin Diesel does this thing with the car and then does this and with the grenades. But I like Charlize Theron. She actually seemed like a stone cold villain, unlike Jason Statham. And honestly, Jason Statham, I liked him better in this movie than the last one. I liked the fight scenes better. I liked his back and forth with The Rock. I know they're doing a movie together. I look forward to that more than the Fast and Furious 9. To be honest, they should not do a Fast and Furious 9. I liked this movie. I had fun with it. I was fine with the one character dying because I didn't dislike her, but it's not like she was one of my favorite characters. And I have to understand to give the... It's like any movie. Why does the girlfriend or whatever die? To give the hero motivation. That happens in like 50 other action movies. So if people got mad about that, I'm like, I can name about 50 action movies that did the same thing. This was bullshit, though. Extended director's cut is only on digital. Bullshit. I have the Blu-ray, the DVD. I should be able to watch the fucking extended cut. Universal, you fucking pricks. But yeah, I know I'm alone in this. I like Charlize Theron as the villain. I had fun with this movie. I like it. And then this stuff. We have Vehicle 19, which I thought was pretty decent. I liked it. The interesting thing with this flick is the entire movie is shot within a car. Within Vehicle 19. So the entire movie is shot from inside this car. It never leaves the car. He gets in this rental car. He finds this unconscious woman in the trunk. He goes on the run, gets in the middle of this conspiracy and assassination and things of that nature. I thought it was an interesting way to film a movie. I thought it was an interesting idea. And I thought Paul Walker did a good job. I think this is a pretty good direct-to-video flick. Vehicle 19. I definitely liked this film. Don't think it's a bad one at all. And then this other stuff, I can admit I wasn't the biggest fan of. The Lazarus Project. I thought this was rather lame. This looks like a horror movie, but it's not. It's more like he's been arrested, he's sent to death, but then he doesn't die. They put him in this program where he's in this, seemed like a fucking commune. Like this ward. And it's like they're trying to deprogram him, or I barely remember this fucking movie because I thought it was fucking boring. It wasn't thrilling. There's no horror film or psychological horror in it. It's just a very boring, I wouldn't even call it a thriller. It's trying to be like a little bit of a mystery, and it doesn't work. And yeah, the Lazarus Project, I can't give you much info because I don't remember the fucking movie. This one, yeah, I guess I remember being alright. Bobby Z, Paul Walker, Lawrence Fishburne. You also have Olivia Wilde, Jason Fleming, Keith Carradine. Weirdly enough, I thought this was okay. I thought, but she can't remember anything about the movie either. I haven't seen this in forever. He's an ex-Marine convict. He's marked for death by a biker gang. You have a steaming DEA agent played by Lawrence Fishburne. He needs somebody to impersonate recently deceased drug lord Bobby Z. And Paul Walker has to impersonate him. And I just remember this not being the most horrible film. But, so that says a lot. This is one that I didn't care for, and I don't know why the fuck this got so many sequels. Also directed by Rob Cohen, The Skulls. I don't understand why this got so many sequels, and I guess I just don't understand the appeal of this movie. I gave it a shot because I've heard good things about it, but an Ivy League campus, there's a secret society with power and influence. Joshua Jackson is invited to join. Paul Walker is one of the people in the secret society, the Brotherhood. You also have Christopher McDonald, Trey T. Nelson. Yeah, I know a lot of people like this film. This just wasn't for me. Could not get into the flick. Then you have Timeline, which Sally is one of Richard Donner's worst movies, in my opinion. And it's sad when you have Paul Walker, Gerard Butler, right there, on the right. Billy Connolly. Pretty much is about these archaeology students. Their teacher, or the professor, is back in time in 14th century France, and they have to go back to rescue him. And I don't know, maybe I'm just not a big medieval times type of fella, or what, but I just could not get into this film. I know it's based on a novel. I never read the book. Never read it. Michael Crichton. I just remember it just wasn't that exciting. The story didn't pull me in. Not much a fan of this movie. I disagree with this. Braveheart with a 21st century twist. Yeah, maybe technically you could say that, but... And then this I got for the Paul Walker collection as well. 8 Below. I mean, what can I say? It's a Disney film. A bunch of sled dogs are stranded in Antarctica. And they have to try to survive. Really, it's more about them than Paul Walker, but... Maybe if Paul Walker was with the sled dogs, and I showed their journey together, but... Yeah, again, it's more the Sled Dogs movie than Paul Walker's movie. But I mean, it's a Disney film. It's there. Directed by Frank Marshall. It's now one of his best movies. I remember not hating the movie, though. I thought it was at least a time waster. 8 Below. The dogs were cute. Paul Walker did fine. You also had Jason Biggs. You also had my friend Effrey's favorite actress, Moon Bloodgood. I have this friend named Effrey who absolutely hates Moon Bloodgood. Why? You have to ask him. Yeah. But that's my Paul Walker collection. So, sad that he went away too soon. Way too soon. Thanks for watching. Take care and stay tuned for more of these type of videos. Later.